Welcome to round 5 of the Snapple National Motocross Championships from Antler Lake, Alberta. I tell you, we've got a gorgeous day. Sunshine, warm temps, and just a slight breeze in the air. With me right now is the gentleman who carries the number 2 plate this year, your 3rd overall in the standings, Marco Dubé. You had a pretty good weekend last weekend, didn't you?
Yeah, it was a very nice weekend. It was my best in this year for sure. I got 4 and 125 overall, and first and 250. It was a good race.
You finally had the showdown we've been waiting for, and that's you and Blair Morgan on the track. What do you have to do to beat Blair?
Just stay consistent, get a good start every moto, and just stay behind him. And when I got a chance to pass him and pull off, and it's gonna be good for sure.
Marco, you make it sound so easy. It's not quite that easy. Let's take it to the starting gate. When you're on the starting gate, are you aware? Do you know where Blair Morgan is, and does it matter to you?
It doesn't matter to me, but all the time I look where is he, and just find where is he, and
Is the whole shot really important here today?
Yeah, it's very important because the track is pretty narrow and it's kind of just one line, and it's going to be very important. We need to get a whole shot, a start in the top 5 for sure.
If you had the perfect weekend this weekend, what would it be, Marco? What do you dream of?
I want to be, in a landing point for sure. If I get, a very good weekend, but what's my dream? I don't know. Just win the championship.
Good luck, Marco.
Thank you very much.
My co-host Mark Travers has got the other story of the day today.
With me right now is defending champion, two-wheel Pro Action Kawasaki's Blair Morgan. Blair, last week it was a good race weekend for you. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, finally got my first moto win from the whole series, and I feel really good being able to dice with Marco, and he got me the second 250 moto. I had some troubles with the bike, but I feel really good coming this weekend.
In terms of the caliber of racing, that's what we were looking for, is a race between you and Dubé. That's what it's coming down to. Can you tell me what it's like to defend a lead against Marco, and then what it's like to chase him?
Yeah, it depends on the track. The track here is kind of skinny, and it's gonna be we're both pretty aggressive riders, and it's gonna be a pretty aggressive passing out there. And he's not gonna be dirty and trying to put me down or anything like that. And he's someone good to race with. We're both the same caliber, and it's a lot of fun out there.
Now, with respect to today's track, of course, the whole shot is always important. Can you tell us, what you're thinking about with respect to getting the whole shot today, and maybe how you're going to line up on the start gate?
Yeah, the whole shot is going to be really important for this race today, and just because I think it's going to be a little bit dusty, and the track's really hard to pass on, and I like lining up a little bit on the inside, just to be able to block the first corner, even if you don't get the best jump, and yeah, definitely I want to get that whole shot and get out front.
Well, the clash between Morgan and Dubé is heating up. We're going to keep our eyes peeled. Back to you, Eric.
Well, the riders are enjoying their final warm-up before this very important weekend gets underway. Joining me now again is my co-host Mark Travers. Mark, it is an important weekend. It could be the most important weekend of the series.
Well, this is round 5, and Eric, remember that there are 100 first-place points in both the 250 and the 125 that are up for grabs here. And remember, Blair Morgan is now leading in the 250 class in terms of overall total points. That's very important.
A lot of pressure on the riders, and of course we're looking for that big showdown. We saw a little bit of it last week. Marco Dubé, Blair Morgan.
Well, we keep talking about confidence and how that's very important in terms of how the riders are battling and making their way for that checkered flag. Right now, Dubé and Morgan do have a lot of confidence. They had a really strong weekend last week in Nanaimo. But then there's riders like Chris Pomeroy, who coming up to this to last week's race was very consistent. He seemed very strong. He had a disastrous weekend last week, and I think his confidence is way down.
When we look at the point totals, and Jean-Sébastien Roy is still out in front, somebody's got to gain more points to really take advantage this weekend.
Well, that's exactly it, Eric. What you'll notice is that these riders, or one in particular, is going to have to go for the clean sweep. He's going to have to go for the majority of the points. That's going to raise them all the way up in the point totals. That's going to put the pressure on Jean-Sébastien Roy. If they don't finish like that and they spread the winnings out, it's going to make it that much easier when he returns next week in Overton, Quebec.
I tell you, it is one important weekend for these riders, and it is going to be exciting. And we're underway with the first moto in just minutes.
Back to the Snapple National Motocross Championships. I'm Eric Hollow, along with co-host Mark Travers. The riders now on their warm-up lap, just before the moto number 1. It's a really interesting track, Mark, and kind of scary in some parts. Earlier, we had a chance to talk to this man, number 90, Rudy Zasco Jr., about the track.
Rudy, this is not a new track to you, isn't it? You've been here a few times.
Yeah, we've been at it for about 20 years at this facility. This has been our home track, and you could say I've been around it a few thousand times. Yeah.
It looks scary in a lot of parts. Tell me some of the tricks about this track.
I think the key to success out here is to keep your momentum up. I actually sooner be at tracks where there's a little more of a point and shoot sort of situation where you can come out tight or different, being able to choose different lines. But this one you have to sort of keep your momentum up, hit the berms wide, and just keep it on the gas.
Okay, are there passing zones anywhere then?
I think it's pretty difficult because there's usually one, maybe 1.5 lines out there that are optimum. So it's pretty difficult. You just have to keep your speed up, keep your momentum up, and just try to beat the guy to the next corner, outbrake him to the next corner, and carry on.
Rudy, there's a part where right by the tower where the track disappears. What, 2-3 stories, and then back up again? How does that feel?
It's actually a really good feeling once you get to our level where it comes natural to be in the air. It's just a lot of fun. You can jump most of the way down the hill and clear it coming back up. So it's quite enjoyable, and it's a really good spectator attraction as far as the track goes.
Tell me about the hole shot. How important is it here? What's the trick on getting a great start?
Huge. I mean, when you got 40 guys on the gate, you got to really dig deep, listen to your bike, make the shift at the right time, get to the first corner out at the same time, like in one motion, and it's basically the race.
Engines begin to rev. Concentration gate now drops. Riders scream towards corner one. What a beautiful sight. Uphill into left-hander. The hole shot's going to go to
We got number 5. Ryan Gull takes a hole shot, followed closely by number 2, Marco Dubé.
Beautiful start, but we have several riders down in corner number 1. Several riders went down into corner 1, but we can't see exactly the number, but what a beautiful start. Ryan Gull, beautiful.
Yeah, the 1997 Ryan Gull was known as the hole shot artist, and I'll tell you what, he really whipped it up there. He really got a nice shot, very aggressive.
One of the riders that got caught up in that corner number 1 was Blair Morgan. An awful start for Blair.
You remember last week in Nanaimo in that first 125 race, Eric, he had a really poor start. And looks like things are settling back into that mode.
Ryan Gull goes a little wide. It is Marco right behind him. I believe we're following. There he is. Inside, tucks inside. And it looks like number 23 is now moved up in there.
Sorry, Eric, that's number 237, Bart Stevenson, riding the Yamaha. It's very tough to see with that, the way the sun's coming through the trees and the shade.
Number 237, Bart Stevenson. What a great run. He must have been 3 or 4 back. We were concentrating on that first place battle. One of the riders has gone off in one of the switchback sections there, and one rider's off to the right-hand side, too.
That was Alex Langevin at number 9 on the Yamaha. Looks like he had some trouble going to that corner.
Oh, there he is. And he cannot get restarted, or he's trying to kick some parts of his bike back into place and not having much success.
Eric does a good shot of that valley in the back and how dusty it gets. It's really difficult for the riders to see where they're going to be landing and where their approach on the jump is coming in and out of that valley.
We had a great dust problem yesterday, and even this morning earlier. Lots of water was put down on the track, and they're going to have to continue to do that throughout the day to keep that dust down. It's much safer for the riders when they have no dust. Nice shot, number 5, Ryan Gold, who sits in second position right now. 237, Bart Stevenson is in first place.
I tell you what, Eric, the makeup of this track with the number of tight corners and the limited number of straightaways is going to keep the riders really close together. I don't think they're going to be able to open up the great distances that we've seen in some of the other courses so far this year.
And we got a good shot there of number 1, Blair Morgan, who is well down to the pack now and is trying to wind his way through for some valuable points. This has got to be a big weekend for Blair. Marco Dubé is also looking for big things this weekend.
Well, what happened to Blair Morgan coming into that first turn, Eric, was that he was a little slow coming out of the gate, and with all those riders bunching up, he had to hang back so that he didn't get caught up in any of those spills. He hung back. At least he's riding. And one thing remember about Blair Morgan, we've seen this in the past, if he does not get a good shot, he's able to make his way through the pack and get into the lead closer at the end of the race.
Ryan Gold still holds down second place, but look at number 90, Rudy Sasko Jr. is now beginning to move. He is become a threat now for number 5, Ryan Gold, who had that wonderful start. He still sits in second place, so that is Ryan. And number 90, Rudy Zasco Jr., who says he's been around this track, 1,000 or so times, is now, his presence is beginning to be known. Our leader still is number 237, Bart Stevenson. There he is, number 13, Justin Huska, barely holding on to 7th spot, now being chased by number 83. That is Darcy Lang. Look at this battle beginning to heat up now with number 5, Ryan Gold. Number 90, Rudy Zasco Jr., who certainly knows his way around this Antler Lake racetrack. Ryan Gold. Behind him, Rudy Zasco, very close behind. Looks like number 3, Chris Pomeroy, has now joined the fray.
Yes, Eric, it looks like Mr. Consistency might be back on his game here. He's riding currently in 5th spot, and he's got a nice tight line. He might even be able to make his way up to 3rd before the end of this race, the way these guys are battling it out.
Number 26 looks like he has been off the track. There's the battle we watch for right now. Oh, yeah. Drag racing down. It is going to be number 3, Chris Pomeroy, who takes number 90, Rudy Zasco Jr. Beautiful pass. Just outpowered him out of that corner. Holds the line through that left-hander. And it looks like Rudy has gone down one more. That, by the way, was the battle for 4th position. And now number 3, Chris Pomeroy, holds it. Now he's after number 5, Brian Gold. Number 5, Brian Gold. He's in 3rd position. Number 3, Chris Pomeroy. Now, here he comes. Power over the whoops. Pomeroy gains some ground on him. Ryan up and over. He's okay. He still holds on to that spot. Look at this. We go away for just a moment, and number 3, Chris Pomeroy, is down, and it looks like he is right out of this moto. We are back now with our leader, number 237, an unfamiliar face. Bart Stevenson has not led a moto yet this year, but there he is doing a masterful job. Didn't even see him in the hole shot. It didn't look like he was a factor at all, and came out of nowhere to grab the lead and has really held on to this beautifully. We ride with number 23. That is Zoli Barani, and an interesting story he is. Earlier we had a chance to learn more about Zoli Barani.
So this is the first pro race for you this season. What have you been doing to keep your chops?
Well, I've been riding regularly. I've been riding since the spring. I ride local races. I just have a business to run, and this is practically in my backyard. I live about a mile from here, so I came out to play with everybody who's anybody in Canada in motocross.
Well, with the finishes you had last year and the word on the track is you're going to be in the top 10 this weekend. What do you think about that?
Well, you know, stroking yourself is not a good thing to do, and I'm not much for it, but I think I can have a fairly decent finish, that's for sure, yeah.
What's it like to be out on the track against you know, a lot of the younger competitors?
Nobody forces me to come out here at my age to do what I do, but I love to do it, and once everybody's dressed up and got their helmets on and gear, nobody can tell anything except where you finished, and your placing says it all. I just do it for myself. I don't do it for anybody else, and I just love, I have a passion for the sport. You don't do something for 30 years at a fairly professional level and you know, not love it, and that's why I'm here, because I love the sport.
Eric, I just got word that number 5, Ryan Gold, is currently in 3rd spot, and he's being chased by 119 Lance Rickard on the Suzuki, who's in 4th.
Lance Rickard, nice ride for Lance. He has made a beautiful move through the field.
He certainly has. He's made up 4 or 5 spots in the last 6 laps, so that's a good ride for Lance.
Ryan Gold has really been pressured today. First by number 3, Chris Pomeroy. Now by Lance Rickard. Look at this. Lance Rickard is all over number 5, Ryan Gold. Ryan now feeling the pressure. He knows he's right there. He tries a different line. Ryan goes on the inside. Here goes Lance, goes on the outside. It is a drag race up there. But you know what? Lance is not going to... No, now he pulls ahead. Ryan has pulled ahead. They are neck and neck, side by side as they go over that area. Ryan holds on to the position. Beautiful battle. Still number 5. Ryan Gold, number 119, Lance Rickard. Again. Oh, now Lance has got the advantage. It is a drag race. Side by side they go down. Lance has got the inside line. Up over. He's definitely got this one, but no. Ryan Gold tucks in tight. He is not going to have it. Much better line for Lance on that one.
Well, you know, Eric, it's kind of interesting. We haven't been paying much attention to Bart Stevenson, who's in the lead, but he's got such a commanding distance lead on number 2, Marco Dubé. There just is no race there. So this is an impressive race for Bart Stevenson. You know, it's interesting. When we were at at Lethbridge a couple weeks ago, he had a really strong showing, and you know, he must like these Western tracks.
But again, all eyes will be on our leader, number 237. Here he comes. He'll take it one more time around this corner. Getting ready to take the checkered flag for number 237, Bart Stevenson. Crossing the finish line. This guy has got to be ecstatic. What a beautiful ride for him.
Very strong race, number 237, Bart Stevenson. He's got to be happy. Look at that, double thumbs up, down into the valley. Good ride, Bart.
We want to make your way over to that team's paddock area in the next little while and see some serious celebrations. Good ride for him. Congratulations. That was very impressive. We'll be back with more in just a moment on the Snapple National Motocross Championships. Welcome back to the Snapple National Motocross Championships. I'm Eric Hollow along with co-host Mark Travers. And the results from the first 125 moto of the day. I tell you, there is a huge surprise way up on top.
You better believe it, Eric. Number 237, Bart Stevenson on his Yamaha. What a race for him. He really has to be happy. Didn't get the whole shot. He was second coming out of the first corner. Made his way to the beginning, though, and he won that race. Very strong for him.
The riders are now on their parade lap. They'll take one tour of the track in their 250 machines before they line up for the start. We watch number 49, Tim Zacharias. Earlier this weekend, we got to learn more about Tim.
Okay, Tim, first race of the season in 1997, you had what was thought to be a career-ending injury, almost severed the liver. Tell us what it's like to come back after that serious of an injury.
Well, this spring, actually last year I was already riding a little bit. After probably about 6 weeks, I was going to take a year off, but I got the itch back again. So, Millen Brothers here, they lent me a bike to use for a bit. I raced the very last race of the year, just a local series, and just kind of getting back into it. But I don't know, this year it's looking good. Coming back I was a little nervous at first because I didn't know how the pace was going to be and how fast the guys are riding and stuff. So I don't know. I'm back in the groove now. I'm leading the points series in Alberta, so I'm kind of pumped for that.
You're very familiar with this course, and you got to have some high expectations for this weekend.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to be pushing for the top 3, hopefully this weekend. I have a lot of support here with family and friends, and my sponsor, Millen Brothers. They've been helping out a lot, and friends from home in Stettler, Brady and Rob Granfield. They've been helping out a lot, and Lord Jesus Christ too. He's been he's been there for me. I haven't been hurt yet, so.
Line is nice. Ooh, look at that colorful array of bikes all waiting for this first moto in the 250 class. We didn't have it again, Mark. We're talking about the race between Marco Dubé and Blair Morgan. Could it be this time that we see it one more time materialize?
Well, we're hoping so. We saw a really bad start from Blair Morgan, so we're going to have to hope that he's in the top 5, gets the whole shot.
5-second board now. Engines begin to rev. Riders at their ready. Watch for that gate. The gate has dropped. They scream towards corner number 1. A hairy corner number 1 it is. Whole shot in this first 250 moto goes to number 237, followed by number 4. Marty Burr is right in the thick of things.
Excellent start again for 237, Bart Stevenson. How about that? Eric, right now we've got number 1, Blair Morgan, in second place. We talked about it. He had to have a strong start, and he got it. He's currently in first place. Blair Morgan is now.
Beautiful move. So Blair is on the move. The bit between his teeth here in this 250 class. He goes very wide. Bart Stevenson is still there. He sits in second place. A little bit further back is third place. It is still number 4, Marty Burr. Now the battle for 4th. We've got bikes side by side in there.
Eric, we've got a huge pileup down in that bottom corner, down in the bottom of the valley there. Looks like we got Thorne, Mesley. We've got a whole pile of riders down there.
I tell you, I thought it was a replay of corner 1, but no. That is, well, now look at the dust now beginning to kick up. They did water in between motos as well, but the dust is being kicked up in that area. Once the bikes begin to spread out a little bit more, that dust will begin to settle down a touch. Still on lap number 1. Leaders come through to complete that one. It is number 1, Blair Morgan. Look at him. Nice lead. He's beginning to stretch that lead already. Goes wide up in that corner. Kicks off the berm. 237, Bart Stevenson being chased now by number 4. Very, very closely. Darcy Lang is right in there, by the way. Number 83.
Eric, we've got a terrific battle for second place right now between Marty Burr, an experienced rider on the Yamaha, and number 237, Bart Stevenson, also riding Yamaha, so it's a good battle between the makers there as well.
Blair Morgan not really making an impact on the distance between first and second place. It's pretty stagnant there. Marty Burr, however, is chasing down. He's got him on the inside. Not enough. 13 and 49. They're in the bowl area now. That is the battle for 7th position overall. Look at that. Riders down. Just got a glimpse of that on the camera.
Good shot at number 13, Justin Huskasori, currently riding in 7th spot.
Yeah, great ride for Justin Huska. He had a very nice start. Something he didn't have a great start in the first moto.
Brett DeVries, nice to see Brett up in the top 10. He didn't fare so well in that first 125, so we'll be looking for some good riding from him. Remember, he is on the YZ400, the 4-stroke Yamaha in this 250 class race.
Someone who is not in the top 10 right now, we expected, number 5, Ryan Gold. No sign of Ryan at all in the top 10 area. There's our leader, number 1, Blair Morgan. Nice lead he has, too, beginning to stretch it substantially. Rider there off one of the slower bikes, just kind of moves over. 237 we watch, battling with 2. That's the battle for 3rd position. Marco Dubé is the number 2 bike, 237. He is now scooted by, so Marco will hold down 3rd position. Now, has he got enough time left in this moto to not only catch Darcy Lang in 2nd place, but can he catch Blair Morgan? 4 and 8. We watch that battle materialized for 7th position overall. Marty Burr, who's fallen throughout this race, lost several positions. And number 8, that's Brett DeVries.
Number 1, Blair Morgan.
Brett DeVries now scoots by Marty Burr. Marty cannot hang. Marty's having his problems this race. There's no question about it. Back with our leader right now. There is number 1, Blair Morgan. About a 13-second lead between himself and the 3rd place bike of Marco Dubé. Couple of bikes tangle it up there.
Eric, we've got a really good battle going on right now between Bart Stevenson and Brett DeVries. Interesting to note, over the last 5 laps, Brett DeVries has made up 2 places and is now currently running in 6th place.
Our leader continues to be number 1, Blair Morgan. A beautiful lead for Blair, and he really is riding. He's riding like he's racing with somebody, and I tell you, there's nobody around him. 237. Number 8, Brett DeVries, trying to get past number 237, Bart Stevenson. Now, will he look inside? He does try inside. And this time, I think he's got him. You bet. Nice move. Brett DeVries grabs that spot. He'll now move into 5th position.
Excellent ride for Brett DeVries. Very aggressive. Seems to really like this course. He's handling it well. Knows the corners well. Knows his lines. Knows his positions. Strong race.
Number 1, Blair Morgan, by the way, takes the white flag. 1 lap remains for Blair Morgan. He's had a terrific ride. Has not been challenged since, well, I don't know, corner 2, corner 3. He pretty much dominated, and he has not looked back since. He's had no competition.
That's exactly it, Eric. He came out of the hole shot. He was 2nd coming out of the first corner. Bart Stevenson got the hole shot. But you're right, after about turn 2 or 3, he took the lead, and it's been all Blair ever since.
Number 8, Brett DeVries, tried to chase him down, cannot find a way around number 90, Rudy Zasco Jr. Rudy playing great defensive game here. Blair Morgan, there he is, number 1. And number 1 in this first 250 moto today. Valuable points for Blair Morgan. He will now move into 1st place for the first time this season. Overall championship points not that far away will also be Marco Dubé. Snapple National Motocross Championships. I'm Eric Hollow, along with co-host Mark Travers. Moto number 1 for the 250 class is now complete. Blair Morgan dominated that one, Mark.
Yeah, no surprise for Blair Morgan in 1st place and Marco Dubé in 3rd. How about that race for Darcy Lang in 2nd spot? Excellent race for him. And Brett DeVries, who finished 4th, moved up 8 spots over the last 10 laps. Very nice race for him, and rounding out the top 5, Rudy Zasco Jr.
The riders begin to take their parade lap or warm-up lap. They'll take 1 tour before they line up at the gate. Rather slowly out of there is number 562 in his Honda, Lane Oslansky. Had some great finishes so far this year. Earlier we learned more about Lane.
Okay, Lane, you had your best finish so far this season with a second in 125 last week in Nanaimo. Can you tell us how the season's going for you so far?
Well, the first 2 rounds out east weren't very good to us. We had a bunch of DNFs and kind of kept us out of the top positions, but so far we got the RPM Finance Hondas up front the last 2 rounds, and looking for some more strong finishes here.
Hey, Lane, this track has some varied terrain. If you take those roundabouts into the back valley and then that big jump going down in the bottom valley, what's it like to be jockeying for position with a rider when you're going down that huge jump and then coming up the second one?
Well, it's a fairly new track to me, but with big hills, you know, you're always going to want to be taking different lines than the other riders out there, making sure you got a clear track to work with. With a crosswind, it's very dangerous. You know, you get jumping down that thing with a crosswind, you're always going to be wanting to make sure you're clear of the other guys.
5-second board is now up. Chief referee watches the gates. Engines rev. Riders now drag race into corner number 1. A great spectacle. Whole shot goes to number 2, Marco Dubé. Raced by number 237 side by side. Blair Morgan is not far behind. A great start for those 3 competitors screaming into corner number 2. Blair Morgan makes a move. Is it on the inside? It is going to be Marco Dubé who holds the lead, no question about it. 237 now attacks. Blair Morgan is not far behind. What a great start again. 3rd start that's been fantastic for number 237, Bart Stevenson. Phenomenal. Marco Dubé leads this pack around on lap number 1. Marco Dubé, rider is down. It is Blair Morgan. He is down. My goodness. He got tangled up, and it is 237. Both down, and they are way back.
Oh, Eric, that is a tough fall for both Bart Stevenson and Blair Morgan, who had really good starts. They're going to have to put their mind together now. It's early in the race. They're going to have to pick up the chops and see if they can make up some time here.
We saw a great shot of Marco Dubé, number 2, with our lead, and all of a sudden there was nobody behind him, and that's exactly why those guys were battling for second. They were all neck and neck going into that 3rd, 4th corner area. Marco Dubé, now he's beginning to be challenged.
Followed closely by number 13, Justin Huska on the Westel Honda, Eric.
Great shot. Great start for Justin Huska. Marco Dubé finally grabs the whole shot here today.
Just a quick note, Blair had a really difficult time starting his bike after that bobble that he had in the corner there where he was down with Bart Stevenson, and he's currently right now riding in last position.
Watch that battle for first. Number 13, Justin Huska. He is really beginning to gain ground. He is moving up on number 2, Marco Dubé. It looked like Marco had a great lead at the start of this race, and now as they get into their 2nd lap, it is Justin Huska beginning to press him.
Oh, we got another rider down.
23 could be the bike that's down, was currently in 5th position. 23 it is indeed, comes official word.
Eric, there's a good shot of Zoli right there. It looks like he's got a bit of a leg problem. He had a crash with Brett DeVries in that corner, the same corner that brought down Morgan and Stevenson.
Back with our leader, number 2, Marco Dubé. He grabbed the whole shot. Now begins to put some distance between himself and the 2nd place bike of number 13, Justin Huska.
Eric, just as we had mentioned, Rudy Zasko, there was a lot of confidence. He just passed Marty Burr, and right now he's currently in 5th spot, and he's battling for 4th with Alex Langevin.
Here he goes. 90 tries. He looks like they're side by side as they head up that hill. Now he's got the advantage on the inside line. He tucks in tight, and he has got that spot. Very nice move. You can tell he knows his track.
Well, that's exactly it. You know, when you get riders of their caliber battling each other, sometimes having more experience on this particular track is going to hold you out or help you out coming into corners, knowing where to pass, knowing where the right line is.
Marty Bird is now beginning to hassle the likes of number 9, Alex Langevin, who's dropped back 1 spot. Marty Bird very close behind. Thinks he can take him. Tries to go the outside. No, he's blocked there. Very substantially blocked. Beautiful move. Alex Langevin had the line. Now Marty Burke tucks on the inside. As he got him, they accelerate out. He had a much better line, at least accelerated quicker out of there, and he grabs that spot away. Our leader still is number 2, Marco Dubé. Justin Huska, number 13, is in 2nd position. 562 is in 3rd position. That's Lane Oslansky. Nice ride for Lane. Number 90 sits in 4th spot. Then it's number 4, Marty Burr, in 5th position. Number 9, Alex Langevin.
now has a gaggle of competitors behind him, all looking to take advantage. Again, he gets taken. Number 73 moves up one more spot.
That's right, Eric. Number 73, Dale Volding on the Kawasaki. And you had mentioned that there was a whole gaggle of riders behind Langevin. Look who's in there. Pomeroy, we got Reimer, we've got Rickard. There's a whole nest of them in there. That's a great battle.
Number 119 has now become a factor. Lance Rickard is beginning to hassle number 9, Alex Langevin, who continues to drop down through the pack. Look at this great battle. Alex has just got his hands full.
He certainly does. But nice to see number 3, Chris Pomeroy, moving up. He's currently running in what I would say 8th spot, I guess, after that little that pass. But nice to see him. He's got a problem with his bike earlier on. It seems like he's put it back together.
Number 562, that's Lane Oslansky. Nice ride for Lane in 3rd position overall, not being hassled as of yet. Now the word has from the timing and scoring people is that our leader has lapped Blair Morgan, so Blair is going to have some problems out there.
Well, Eric, if we've got Dubé lapping Morgan, I'll tell you what, that tells me that Blair Morgan has got a problem with his bike, because the way he's been riding in the past few races, even if he didn't get that good start, you know he's going to be making his way, through the pack and up to the top 10.
There's a bike down and pitched into the dirt. Ryder looks like he's okay. That's 163, I believe. All eyes on our leader now. Number 2, Marco Dubé, has not been challenged at all this race after the first lap. He comes around to grab the checkered flag. It is Marco Dubé who will grab the big 25 points and take the lead in the championships.
Yeah, very important race for Marco Dubé. He's got to be happy with that. Got the whole shot, and just a real strong race for Marco. Nice.
Welcome back to the Snapple National Motocross Championships. Eric Hollow along with Mark Travers. While the riders are on their warm-up lap, we can take a look at the results from the second 125 moto of the day. Dubé dominated that one.
He certainly did. Interesting race with Blair Morgan and Bar Stevenson going down on the first lap. We're not going to see them in the points, but great ride for number 13, Justin Huska. Really strong ride. Once again, we got Lane Oslansky in the 3rd position. Great ride for him. And how about Rudy Zasko Jr.? That's 3 top 5 finishes so far for him today.
Now, less than 5 seconds, down to 2, watching for the gate. Gate drops, riders are off. Course corner 1, Dubé is well back as we watch them head into corner number 1. Could it be Blair Morgan that grabs it? It is number 83 that grabs the whole shot. Look at that, Dubé and Morgan right behind him.
Eric, we've got Darcy Lang who got the whole shot. Great start for Darcy, really fast.
Watch out. Here comes Blair Morgan. He tucks on the outside. He tries to take Marco Dubé. I think he's got him. Blair Morgan now begins. Marco Dubé and Blair Morgan had a wonderful run into the first corner. Dubé was well back, but as they exited the corner, Dubé was in second. He is now, it looks like, in 3rd spot. Blair Morgan right behind number 83. Darcy Lang. It's not going to be long. Blair Morgan is on the move. He doesn't take very much time at all. He goes wide. Lang cuts on the inside. Marco Dubé is now a little bit further back. Attacking right away. Blair Morgan goes on the outside. He goes very wide. Accelerates faster. He has got the better line out of there and now leads the race.
Eric, excellent example of braking and accelerating, coming in and out of a corner.
Went very wide, but took number 83. Darcy Lang now in 2nd spot. Marco Dubé now, look at that. He's a little bit further back with a couple of bikes in between.
Right now, Eric, we got number 90, Rudy Zasko Jr. in 3rd spot, and Marco Dubé, number 2 on the Suzuki, is currently in 4th.
Well, we have got a race on our hands. Could this be the showdown we've been waiting for all weekend long? Blair Morgan leads that troop on lap number 1. Ever so close behind. This is a corner that gets very congested very quickly, and it's surprisingly is not the first corner. There's number 1, Blair Morgan. He's our leader. Number 2, number in 2nd spot, make that. It's 83. That's Darcy Lang. He stays there. And in 3rd spot, it's number 90, Rudy Zasko Jr. Great weekend for Rudy. Behind him, number 2, Marco Dubé. Then there's a large gap before we get to number 4, Marty Berg, who's just a little further back. Chasing down number 90. It's not going to be long. Marco looks to the outside. No. Rudy cuts him off. Now he accelerates. Has he got the speed? Side by side, they head up the hill. Side by side still. And ahead goes number 2.
He got him. Goes very wide again, but has a much better line out of there. Look at that. Marty Burr is right in the thick of things, too.
That was a terrific lap by Marco Dubé. Really put his act together. He moved himself up from 4th into 3rd, passing Rudy Zasco. But keep in mind that he's not letting Morgan and Darcy Lang get out of his sights.
This is a corner that gets very congested very quickly, and it's surprisingly is not the first corner.
Right now, Blair's got a nice, clean track ahead of him. Darcy Lang not letting him get too far. Look at that. Darcy's hanging right on to Blair's tail.
You're certainly right. Darcy Lang is right on Blair Morgan's heels. He probably wasn't too happy that he let Morgan get past him, but look at that. Really nice coming out of that corner down in the bottom of the valley.
Darcy almost gets side by side. Blair Morgan out-accelerates them, almost side by side again through that big jump and way down. It is still number 1, Blair Morgan. He has got some competition. This is going to slow Blair Morgan down just a little bit. Look at that. Marco is right on their tail. 1, 2, 3. Closest racing we've seen today yet. This is the battle for first place. Number 1, Blair Morgan goes very wide. 83, Darcy Lang is right there to take advantage of any mistake that Blair is going to make. And number 2, Marco Dubé watching the action. He goes wide. Not going to be the right line this time. A little bit of a wheelie for Darcy as he comes out of that area. A little bit further back, then we see number 13, Justin Huska. He's had a pretty decent weekend in all. 1, 2, 3. It does not get any closer than this. Blair Morgan leads the top 3 into the right-hander. Marco Dubé again looking. He's sizing up Darcy Lang, who's in 2nd place right now. Marco riding very strong. He's in a great spot. The best thing that could happen to Marco Dubé right now is that Darcy Lang begins to make a move and starts to hassle Blair Morgan a little bit. He's in a perfect position to take advantage of anything that happens.
That's a very good point, Eric, and I tell you what, Darcy Lang is... Well, look at that. On the inside, Darcy Lang just took Blair Morgan.
Beautiful move on the inside, outpowered him. And now they're side by side, but Blair's got the advantage through that bumpy section, through the whoops. I think Marco Dubé's just sitting back, watching all the action, figuring out where he's going to take advantage of this.
You know, and watching him ride, I think you're exactly right, Eric. He's just holding back. He's waiting to see what's going to happen between Lang and Morgan. He's waiting for a mistake to be made, and he's not going to let them get too far ahead. But I tell you what, sorry to interrupt, Eric, but the longer this race goes on, you wait and see. Dubé's going to take care of Lang and dust him real quickly and get into the spot when he wants to make his move.
It is a good spot to be in. And it's not impossible that these 1st and 2nd place riders take each other out. Of course, that would be too easy for Marco. But he is in the spot to watch right now. Here goes Marco, goes up wide again. He looks, now he outpowers him. Can he take Darcy? He's got Darcy Lang in a very nice maneuver. He's tried that outside move on that corner several times. This is the time he chose to really accelerate.
Well, that was a good point of watching how Marco Dubé will come out of a corner and strong braking and quick accelerating, and he was able to take Darcy Lang on the wide side, which is not an easy thing to do.
Here we go. Number 1, Blair Morgan. Number 2, Marco Dubé. This is what we've been waiting for. One more time this weekend, they will go head-to-head for first place and huge points towards the Ultimate Championship. Now it's Blair Morgan out in front. Still, Marco Dubé very, very close. Number 83, Darcy Lang, has not let them get away at all. Those 3 have literally left the rest of the field way behind. 4th spot is still Marty Burr. Now, side by side, Marco Dubé, has he got the better line into it? It looks like he has it. Blair Morgan is not going to catch him on this hill. Tight in left-hander. Now, Blair Morgan tries to accelerate. Too tight for him in that corner. Marco Dubé, number 2, is our new leader. Now, Blair Morgan's got a job in his hands. He must continue to pressure Marco Dubé. This situation is not going to sit well with our number 1 plate holder, last year's champion, Blair Morgan, who has been passed by number 2, Marco Dubé. My goodness, look at the distance. Marco is now beginning to stretch his lead out. Morgan cannot let this happen. He must stay very close. Now, is Darcy Lang making a move? He's right in there. He is going to be challenging number 1, Blair Morgan. Marco up and over, beautiful. Here he comes, 2nd and 3rd place side by side as they go over. 83 now leads Blair Morgan. Look at that, he's grabbed that spot back. We ride with number 83. Darcy Lang, now Darcy, look at the distance Darcy has put between himself and Blair Morgan. Look at this. Looks like Rudy is making a move on Blair Morgan. Blair is dropping down substantially. What could be wrong with Blair Morgan? He now goes back one more. Number 90, Rudy Zasco Jr. has grabbed 3rd spot. What a great ride for Rudy.
A lot of questions out there right now. I'm sure that Ron Ashley's scratching his head.
That trailer was closed up tight between motos, as you found out, and no information was leaking from that camp at all.
Yeah, after that second 125, I went out to see how the fellas were doing after that race, and and Ron Ashley's two-wheel Pro Action Motorsport trailer was all sealed up. The fellas were in their meeting, and I don't know, there's some big questions here. I don't know, Blair Morgan just doesn't seem to have the strength or the endurance to hold off some of these riders up top.
Marco Dubé continues to wind his way through the field, putting a lap down on yet another competitor. Well, Blair Morgan, number 1, is way down. He is now charting in 8th position and in danger of finishing out of the top 10. Unheard of. Back with our leader, 2, Marco Dubé. Just 1 corner stands between them. A slower bike in front. The checkered flag awaits as he crosses the finish line. Our winner, number 2, Marco Dubé. A terrific ride. And what can we say? Disappointment has got to be for so many people. The number 1 plate holder, Blair Morgan, really just fold. We'll come back with more in just a moment on the Snapple National Motocross Championships.